So continuing with our little tour here in Android Studio, we see at the top that we have other things as well. In fact, let's go all over the top here. So at the very top, you can see it just shows some sort of a path, like a breadcrumb path showing where we are exactly right now. So we're inside of our activity main XML, as you can see here, and it just tells us exactly where it is located. So it's inside of our source, which has a main, which has resources, layout, and then we have the file. Okay. Very good. Then we have here this make project. So if you click on this, it will just go ahead and recompile everything to create an actual project. Okay. We don't usually use that one because we just usually use this green button here that says that it's just going to go ahead and run it. Very good. And of course, we have this drop down menu here. If you click on this drop down menu, it's got all sort of things. But most importantly, what we use is the app. As you can see here, and when we were using Java, creating that module in Java, we use this my class. So in this case here, it should be at the app, which means then when we run, it's going to run this project as just an Android app. And you can see also there's this very nice icon which represents Android, the droid, as we call it, right? And here we have this other icon, which means apply changes right away. So usually if we go ahead and run this application and we make some changes, if you look here inside of our emulator, what happens is everything was recompiled. Now, there are times when we make small changes, we want to make sure that we just want to see the changes that we made. So that's when you just click on this button here and this icon, apply changes, or you can use the shortcut, as you can see, Control-Command-R. Okay, we have debugging and so many other things here. Now, the most other important one is to stop. So this is the stop button, all right? Those are very important buttons or important menus that we should know about. And come down here again. Remember, we are inside of our design, okay, not text. We are inside of a design here. You're going to see some other menus button around here as well. This one is zoom in, so you can zoom out and zoom in to make it a little bit bigger. So I tend to zoom in a little bit more so you can actually see as I'm talking to you here. So it's more visible in the video format that I'm recording. Right? And here is the default English language that I created. You can add your own and we'll look into that later, but you can change things there as well. And then here we have app theme. So you can actually change the app theme within Android Studio, this design view. Okay. We don't need to worry about it right now, but when we talk about theming our apps, then you will see what that all means. Very good. So here is the API level. Android is a very complicated software development kit, meaning that there are a lot of different versions of Android SDK. So the software development kit or the libraries that compose Android. So at this point here, we picked 28. We'll talk more about that as well. Now here is very interesting because we can actually change the phone sizes when we're starting testing how things would look in different phone sizes. Because Android is very fragmented, meaning there are different manufacturers that can take Android being an open source, right? So anybody can take Android operating system and make their own changes and run on different devices, which means this is a wonderful, great thing. It's a blessing, but at the same time, it can be a curse because different manufacturers may have different specification of Android phone or device. Right? So different sizes, which allows for fragmentation. So it's always important once you have your application to see how it would look in different manufacturer devices. So we have tablets, we have phones, different sizes and so forth. So you can click on either of these and they will actually change the size. So let's click on this one here. You see, change the size, come down here and click on this one and things are changing. It's hard to see, but they are indeed changing, right? All right, so I'm going to go back to the first one we had before and bring it back that big. Okay, and the next thing here is that we can actually change the UI mode, the night mode, and so forth. And we can also change the portrait and landscape. So if we change the landscape like that, notice now everything is portrait mode. Our app is, okay, looking good. We can change back to portrait. Okay. Notice also when we change that, it goes back to the normal size. So I have to come back and zoom in. And then we have here this way in which we can change how do we want to show either with this blueprint or just design. So this, like I said before, this is the design because that's where we design. This is the blueprint. So we can actually see how things are being wired up. So if I just say design, notice we just have design. If I want to see the surface of just blueprint, there is only blueprint. If I want to design plus blueprint, and this is what you see. So you can play around and change it as you wish to do so. Okay. All right, so most of other things here we're going to be learning as we learn Android development. Like I said, this is such a strong and an amazing integrated development environment. So it has all these things that it's virtually impossible to learn in just one video. So you will get used to it. It makes sense as we continue learning things in Android. But before we go here, I just want to show you at the bottom here. This is where we'll see a lot of things happening. But I will make sure that we talked about at least these two, which is run. Now, the run is actually spitting out this log here, console, spitting out everything that happens internally in our Android, here in our application, as it runs. Okay, so the run here is the console that shows everything that's happening internally as we run our application. Right? So most of it will sound and look very gibberishy, meaning it won't make a lot of sense to us at this point. But later, as we get more into the Android development, these will start make sense. And of course, I will point things out, right? And then we have here the logcat. Logcat is similar to our run, but in fact, logcat allows us to read logs that we can put in our code so that we can debug or look through errors and see how our app is handling the data, the logic that we have been writing. And of course, we will be playing a lot in the logcat here and see what's really going on. Okay. The cool thing about logcat, you can actually create different logs in our code, and then we can search for exactly what is that we want to see, because it tends to have a lot of different things that are showing up. For instance, the zygote and all these things, it is again internal things that are happening that sometimes we don't want to use it or want to see it. We just want to see certain specific things that we know we want to check the value for, so we can search for it here. All right. And also, as you can see here, I can toggle things down. So this button here allows us to just put it down, hide it. If I want, click here, it opens, and there we go. And also, while it's open, we can click on this here, and we can show it in different places, right? You can't quite see here. I can move it to left, right, and so forth. So there's a lot of things we can do. We can pin it around and so forth. The same thing with any of these as well, right? Any of these tabs here, we can do the same thing. Okay. Very good. And of course, like I said, we can pin it down or close it down here. The same thing in this side here. You notice there's a lot of things going on. I can also close that, so we just have focus here, right? If I want, I can also close this component here, tree. There we go. And all we have now is just our user interface. If I wanted it back, I can come down here. If I wanted our component tree back, you can click here and it shows there again. Okay. And of course, you can see you can also move things around, right? You can float mode, you can split it, all sort of things. But I like to keep it this way, at least for now. All right, very good. So at this point here, should be mildly comfortable with Android Studio. If not, do not worry. In fact, I don't want you to be memorizing all of this, because I just want you to see how things work or where things are, so that when we start developing applications and learn more about Android development, this is not completely foreign. And you can always come back to this video and watch it. But I promise you, it may look very difficult right now and very foreign, but in a few more videos, once we start get going, it will all look so familiar. All right, I'll see you next.